Hi, friends. It's Angie, Angela Power Disney, and my beautiful assistant, colleague, Aaron. And I'm so apologetic. There's so much I need to speak about, including the ICSA recommendations, including the fact that Hoaxed has done a 6-part podcast series trying to debunk the Hampstead case again. The fact that Channel 4 seem to be snooping around and contacting people like Rupert and Abraham and trying to debunk Hampstead again, as if the Victoria Derbyshire Ricky Dearman show was not painful enough. But I do wonder if this is connected to the fact that a case is bubbling up to the surface and the mainstream media in Glasgow, Scotland. So there's a very credible ritual abuse case bubbling up in Glasgow, and people have been charged. 5 people have died mysteriously, and virtually nobody. Well, there is some coverage, but I would suspect many of even my subscribers haven't heard of this case. So we're going to just jump into 6 or 7 articles about it. And thanks to a brilliant researcher who is raising young children, so stays under the radar, but nonetheless is a superb researcher. So thank you. And you know, if you want more open credit, I'm happy to give it, but I just am very protective of sources, especially those who are vulnerable to the level of targeting. Like I need to make another video about Richard D. Hall, the whole drama with Alex Jones, Alex Belfield, you know, shots across the bow trying to change the laws and silence journalists, the Julian Assange thing, although there's a whole other narrative to that. But the whole thing about freedom of speech is no longer protected. So let's just take a look, and I'm just going to highlight this Glasgow case. And shockingly, the second part of the trial has been deferred to September next year. And my question is, with such horrendous allegations and charges, why are these people still out on bail? Is this another psyop? Is this another story set up to fail? I don't know. But look, I'm going to share the coverage so far with you. Thank you. Right, let's go to the first article, please, Aaron. Right, so hearing, do you want to just scroll up a bit? So this is the Belfast Telegraph, is it? Yeah, Belfast Telegraph. And I posted this on my Twitter and a couple of places. The 14-page indictment listing 43 different charges mainly centers on alleged abuse towards 1 boy and 2 girls. Okay, I'm just going to make this bigger for my eyesight. Okay, now we'll scroll down, please. All right, up a bit. Okay, a case against 11 people accused of taking part in a child sex ring involving witchcraft, attempted murder, and serious sexual violence will be continued early next year. 7 men and 4 women are facing a 14-page indictment listing 43 different charges on alleged crimes that happened between January 2010 and March 2020 at various addresses in Glasgow. The accusations involve multiple young children, but mainly center around 2 girls and a boy. Some charges claim the alleged victims were forced to take part in satanic, quote, seances where they were told they were drinking blood and eating a heart. Okay, scroll down, please. It is claimed they were made to kill animals and made to use a Ouija board or similar object to call on, quote unquote, call on spirits and demons. And as a Christian, I can tell you, invoking demons is a real thing. It is a thing. One of the young girls was said to have been shut in a microwave, a fridge, an oven, and a freezer in attempts to kill her. There are also claims members of the group did clap, cheer, and verbally encourage, as well as video record, the children being sexually abused. Ian Owens, 44, Elaine Lannery, 38, Leslie Williams, 41, Paul Brannan, 40, Marianne Gallagher, 38, Scott Forbes, 49, Barry Watson, 46, Mark Carr, 49, Richard Gagan, Giogan, I don't know, 45, Leona Lang, 50, and John Clark, 46, deny the charges they face. Maureen Goody, Stephen McKendry, Robert Brown, James McLean, and Douglas Gochern are also mentioned as being involved in a number of the charges. Now listen to this, people. But court papers said they are now deceased. So this investigation goes back to 2010 to 2020, but 5 alleged abusers are now deceased. I'll read their names again. Maureen Gowdy, Stephen McKendry, Robert Brown, James McLean, Douglas Gorin, all deceased. It's got shades of the Dutroux affair in Belgium. At a hearing at the High Court in Glasgow on Monday, Judge Lord Beckett described the case as, quote, a unique situation. No, it's not unique at all, sadly. Questions were raised over how best to hear evidence from some witnesses in the trial. So this is where they say the children need protecting, it's going to get a D notice. And it's not to protect the children, believe me. The children are screaming from the rooftops trying to get heard. It's the adults and those around them that want the case denotified, and it's not yet, so this is why I'm sharing this. Questions were raised how best, to hear the evidence, and lawyers were given until the end of the year to lodge any complaints about proceedings ahead of the trial next year. Next year will be 2023. If even 10% of these allegations are true, the alleged abusers are presumably free for 3 years before getting taken to trial. Carr, who had failed to show at the previous hearing, surprise, surprise, appeared in the court for a brief moment, but was told by Lord Beckett his attendance was not compulsory, and he left. Members of the group are accused of getting the young boy to courier-controlled drugs on their behalf. That's the least of these offences, believe me. The second charge is against 10 members of the group, apart from Forbes, who've been accused of assaulting one of the girls over half a decade from when she was 6 years old. So 6 years old. This included drugging her, huge part of it, running a wheelchair into her legs, putting a black plastic bag over her head, and forcing her to eat cat food. And for those that have done deep research on this. It's not just cat food, trust me. Think, what do you call that? Abramovich, Marina Abramovich. Anyway, I won't go there. It's then said Owens, Lannery, Williams, Brennan, and Gallagher assaulted the young boy. They're accused of holding his head under liquid in a bath, which they told him was blood. Owens, Lannery, Williams, Brennan, and Clare are then accused of attempting to murder the younger of the two girl victims. The charge states between 2015 and 2019, this is not historical, people. Come on. They forced her to act like a dog and to eat cat and dog food and frozen food. The group is said to have chased her, quote, wearing a mask of the devil, and hung her by her jumper from a nail on the wall. This is represented in artwork as showcased by people like the BBC or Camilla Batman Gaelic. The charge then claims the girl was pushed inside a microwave, an oven, a fridge, a freezer, and various cupboards, including one with an electricity meter. The group are then accused of trapping her inside these places in an attempt to kill her. Now, I just hope that all this pre-publicity is not a setup to ridicule allegations of ritual abuse, to do another satanic panic debunk cover-up as happened in the 80s. I hope I'm wrong. Court documents claim all 11 members wore cloaks and devil horns and got the children involved in, quote, witchcraft, leading them to believe that they themselves had metamorphosed into animals. They made the young boy stab a budgie to death and have been accused of killing a number of dogs, including getting the children to attack the animals. And from the many survivors I've spoken to, this thing of having the children feel that they are part of the cult and that they themselves are monsters is the enforced killing of animals or babies, even if the hand has to be held and guided. Owens then faces a number of charges that he raped the older girl on now older, this is interesting, I wonder what age, 8, 9, on various occasions over a period of 7 years between 2012 and 2019. Some of these incidents are said to include Watson, Brannan, Clark, and Forbes, who are also charged with raping the girl at several points over 4 years. This poor child. Other charges include members of the group raping the boy and the younger girl and making the elder girl, I wish they would put the ages here, the elder child, quote, operate a camera and create video footage of some of the abuse. Now, this is a side note, but Andrew Ash, who was induced into muddying the waters with his testimony, but one thing he did disclose is that he was induced into filming the abuse of other children when he was still a child. Another involves members of the groups threatening one of the young girls that they had arranged for her to go to Turkey with a male stranger. And that's perfectly plausible. Child trafficking is a thing. We've seen it with, it's a thing. International trafficking. Even Richard Kerr from King Cora talks about being trafficked from the children's home in Belfast to England, to New York, to the Caribbean. It's like trafficking children is and has been a thing for a long time. And prosecutors state Gahagan, I think that's originally an Irish name, Gahagan. But anyway, Gahagan, Lang, Carr, Forbes, and Watson allegedly paid for sexual services for 3 of the children. Owens and Lannery also face charges of attempting to defect the ends of justice and attempting to pervert the course of justice. This includes threatening one of the girls and her call to the police being disconnected. They also allegedly got rid of items to avoid arrest. The indictment goes on to detail further separate drugs charges against the group. Judge Lord Beckett set an 8-week trial at the High Court in Glasgow for September 2023. A further hearing has been fixed for January. Now, January will be where the lawyers will try and find technicalities and say, oh, it's all got to have a D notice slapped on it, you know, to protect the witnesses and blah, blah, blah. All right, let's go to the next article. And I might not read everything of all the articles, but we will post the links. Let's make that full size. Give me the mouse a minute. And then I'll make sure it's, yeah. Okay. Daily headlines and Evening Telegraph newsletter. All right. And where have we got that?
Yeah, Angie, we need to pause. I paused the share because the thing is covering the tabs. So let me just find the right tab, okay?
All right.
So which do you want, Metro?
I don't mind it. It doesn't matter what order we do them in now.
Let's.
So are we not recording at the minute, or we are?
We are recording, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Screen share is paused.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, let's just dip it. The Scotsman, there's Metro.
Yeah, let's just. I'll run through the rest of them briefly. I won't read the whole articles.
Okay, so let's try. Okay, cool. Yeah, now share again.
Okay.
So
this is the Scotsman article. Satanic, quote unquote, child sex ring case in Glasgow involving attempted murder and sexual assaults to be continued. A case for 11 people accused of taking part. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Scroll down. No, I think we might have read this, or it might be a repeat, but just scroll down. I'll see if there's anything new in it. Can you scroll down? Okay. 7 men, 4 women, 14-page indictment. 43, yeah, okay. All right, I think this is the same article, just hosted by a different media.
Basically, this is like quite a few of the different medias covering the same thing.
Yeah, but there doesn't seem to be anything new in that article. But some
shut in microwave, yeah, another one. There is which is Metro.
Let's check the Metro.
Okay. Okay.
Is that the Metro article?
Yep.
Here we go. Yeah. All right. So it might be just the same thing, people. 11 people are accused. The 7 men and 4 women. Yeah, no, that's the same article. It's good to see the article has been featured in a few. And this is what makes me a bit suspicious. Are we being set up for another cover up? You know, another ridicule. Like, let's give it lots of hype and then let's debunk it.
Now, there's the Scottish Sun.
Right, that's interesting. Let's have a look at that. Right, scroll down, yeah. Safety fears 2 accused in alleged Glasgow witchcraft pedo ring escorted from home by cops. Right. 2 members of an alleged, quote, witchcraft pedophile ring have been escorted from their home by cops over concerns for their safety. And this was in August. If you scroll down a bit, officers attended an address in Lennoxtown, East Dunbartonshire, this afternoon, the day after the duo appeared at the High Court in Glasgow. So this case has been bubbling up for a lot of this year, which is why I wonder, is that why there's a counteroffensive by the mainstream media trying to debunk satanic ritual abuse? Just like in the 80s, I was in America in the 80s, and even channels like True Movies would make these incredible movies about wrongly accused parents and the devastation that they endured, and victimizing the alleged perpetrators, all as part of the satanic panic debunking. And if it's true that Tortoise Media, that we've covered in the blog, and we've got more to release on, who are connected to Davos and Wall Street and the BBC and all the rest of it, if it's true that they are on a multiple offensive to debunk the Hampstead case and thus satanic ritual abuse, I'm very concerned about the latest rumors that Channel 4 are now jumping on the bandwagon and approaching people like Abraham, or trying to Guidance put up a video today saying that Abraham had contacted him and said Channel 4 had sent people out to Morocco and paid people to speak badly about him. And although that might sound far-fetched, if you watched TR's expose of Panorama called Panodrama, you will see absolute evidence of skullduggery by mainstream media to get the narrative and story that they want. So Panodrama, you know, it was banned, it's gone, but you'll find it if you're any kind of a serious researcher, research Panodrama, which exposes mainstream media's supposed exposés, right? So it comes after we revealed they were among 11 people facing more than 40 charges, including the attempted microwave murder of a baby. Jesus Christ. The 7 men and 4 women are also charged with repeatedly raping a girl plus 2 other kids and forcing them to kill animals. 6 alleged members are accused of trying to murder a child under the age of 4 and further hanging her from a nail on a wall by her jumper. And if you refer back to particularly Elisa's disclosures on the Hampstead case, she talks about these nails on the wall. Charges claim that over a 10-year period involving 3 children, I'm sure it was many, many more, in Glasgow, they allegedly ordered 2 older kids to force the other child to act like a dog and made her eat cat food and dog. I suspect it was much more like feces and urine, but look. And I suspect the bath allegedly filled with blood probably was. It's just, this is spirit cooking on steroids. Prosecutors claim the 6, blah, blah, blah. Right, I'll read it again. Ian Owens, Elaine Lannery, Leslie Williams, Paul Brannan, John Clark, as well as the late Stephen McKendry, also pursued the child while, quote, wearing a mask of the devil and blew smoke into her face after taking drugs. That was probably crack. They and 5 others face a total of 42 abuse raps at the High Court in Glasgow, dating back to 2010. Owens and Lannery of Thornleybank, Renfrewshire, face claims they and 15 other adults. Now, if there's only 17, you can guarantee there are more. These are just the 17 that got caught, including 5 who are now dead. Repeatedly raped the 3 children. I'm going to read that again. Owens and Lannery face claims they and 15 other adults, including 5. So a third of the accused are now dead. Let that sink in. Brannan, Richard Guhern, Mark Carr, Clark, Scott Forbes, and Barry Watson are accused of exposing themselves and performing sex acts on a tot as others cheered. All right, let's go to the next act. Like, Jesus Christ, why isn't there a mass outrage about this? What is going on? This was in the Sun newspaper. Right. Right. Where did I get to? Yeah, cheer. Robert Brown, Maureen Gowdy, McKendry are also accused of rape, but all three have since died. Interesting. They're only in their 50s, maybe only barely 50. A further two men, James McLean and Douglas Gochran, both also now deceased. Jesus Christ. This is Dutroux all over again, people. This is Belgium all over again. And this is just a theory of mine. This might explain the offensive being mounted by mainstream media to debunk the Hampstead disclosures. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next article briefly. We'll just link all these articles. It's much of a muchness, but I just wanted to raise people's awareness. I wanted to question if and why these accused, although 5 of 15 are now dead, but if the remaining 10 are out on bail, then why? On such serious allegations.
Then the Scottish Sun again.
Yeah, okay.
Five died before trials.
Yeah. I mean,
Same-
why is that not front page news? Although, hats off to the Scottish Sun. Let's just make this full screen.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
And make sure it's on. Yeah, okay. Right, 5 died before trial. 5 accused names in Glasgow, quote, paedophile ring die months before the court hearing. 5 people accused of being members of a, quote, witchcraft paedophile ring died in the months before a court hearing over the alleged sex abuse. Yesterday at the High Court let's just check the date on this article, just to keep this current, but this has been bubbling up all year, people, and hardly anybody's covered it. So where's the date? Right. 2nd of August. Okay, keep going. Yesterday at the High Court, so on the 1st of August in Glasgow, prosecutors alleged 6 of the accused attempted to murder a child. And this is like where the newspapers have caught on something, trapping her in a microwave oven, as well as repeatedly raping her, along with 2 other children. This is a baby we're talking about, people. Jesus. Right, keep going. Wait a minute, I'll just read who that is. Stephen McKendry was facing child abuse charges. He's dead. 5 of them, 5 out of 15 accused are dead. Hello, were they going to spill? They and 5 others face a total of 42 abuse raps dating back to 2010. 10 years, alleging children ordered to kill animals and so on. Take part in witchcraft classes, with other accusations too disturbing to print. Okay, have we got any more articles? All right, let's read a bit more. The Scottish Sun previously told how accused Stephen McKendry, Maureen Gowdy, Robert Brown were found dead after their October 2020 arrests. This is current, people. This is not historical abuse, and it's not myth and legend. We can now reveal 2 more men accused of having raped a girl have also passed away. James McLean and Douglas Gochran are named in one of the rape charges, with 5 other males accused, and McKendry, 55. McKendry's death in January came 8 months after Gowdy, 50, died, and a year on from the death of Robert Brown, 51. Lord Beckett, I don't know, that grates on me for some reason, set an 8-week trial at the High Court in Glasgow for September 2023. And then it says here a further hearing was also fixed for October. Well, we've reported on that. And
so it's extra recent, like it's recent.
There's another hearing scheduled for January, which is how are we going to report on this sensitive matter? So I just pray they don't try and inflict a D notice, which is supposed to be for wartime national security. The D notices are being abused to cover up child abuse. Right, so we covered all the articles.
There's also, it's just to mention, there's also Daily Mail covering the same 11 people up in court.
Okay, and a lot of these mainstream media.
And STV News also covering that.
Okay, so we'll put all the links to the articles under the video. Some of them duplicate, some of them go deeper. Thank you to the person on the ground in Scotland. And even though January is probably, I hope and pray that even by shining a light on this, that the court doesn't attempt to slap a D notice. A D notice, for those that don't know, was something introduced in the war where newspapers couldn't publish something that would compromise Britain in war. So, for instance, if there was going to be a blackout, or if there was intelligence of an incoming bomb, or so on, the newspapers had to keep a lid on it until the danger was safely averted, like the Blitz. My mother was evacuated from the Blitz for 4 years. So it's very real. This was what a D notice originally was, but it's been bastardized, and it is mostly used now to go secret on court cases under the guise of protecting the anonymity or the vulnerability of children, but is actually covering up alleged perpetrators, keeping them, keeping a lid on this whole thing. And I know for myself as a survivor that I would have loved somebody to expose what was happening to myself and others in my childhood. And I wouldn't have been one bit offended at losing my anonymity, because losing your anonymity when you are a ritual abuse survivor or a trafficking survivor or just a child abuse, not just, that's the wrong word, but a child abuse survivor, losing your anonymity is the last thing on your mind. What you're praying for and hoping for is just to be rescued. So keep an eye on this case, people. We'll post all the links. And thanks for listening. God bless. I'm trying to end it.
Yeah, so don't. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I was going to end it.
Because I have to leave in a couple of minutes. To,
okay. So let's just end this, and we'll finish editing it later. Okay.